Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I think we can start now, even though I know that we have another presenter that is not here yet. All the presenters, can we start now?
Yes.
All right.
Greetings, everyone. So we will be giving you the time limit and time frame. We will remind you in the chat box. Please be alert for the messages. And for Dr. Ari, would you like to share your own slides, or you prefer us to help you share the slides?
Yes. Please do so.
Sure.
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah, but before that, I just want to remind all the presenters. I'm Zato, by the way. I will be chairing the session, and we will give you about all each presenters about 10 minutes. All right. And then I think we will wait for all the presenters to present, and then we will do the Q&A session at the end. Is it all right, the CAs? Or we just wait? We just Q&A for after each of the presentation, or at the end? I think better for at the end of the session. I think that will be better. Right. So today, so welcome to the MSC13. All right. So today we will have 4 presenters for presentation. Today's session, green B3. We have 4 presenters for presentation. We have sorry, we have 4. Okay. We have Dr. Nazri and Dr. Arif. We have Dr. Zaharul. We have Dr. Afiq Nazrin, and also we have Mr. Miming Wong. Okay. So our presentation, I think the topic is very interesting. So we are looking forward to listen to all the presenters. So since Dr. Arif already ready now, so we will ask you. Yeah. So the Arif, you are the floor is yours. Right. So 10 minutes from now.
Okay. Thank you very much to moderator and all. This 2022 elections. So basically, can you please move to the next slides? Okay. So basically, the idea of this, okay, how local leaders trump national parties. Basically, we attempt to challenge the previous arguments that strongly rely on the ideas that the voting behavior can only be explained through the concept of parties identification. So basically, I think this morning we attempt to propose another new thing. Okay, so as you can see, based on the given abstract, in which that despite having a moderately institutionalized party system, okay, basically what happened is that the voting patterns among Malaysians, okay, up until the 2018 general election will frequently revolve, okay, around party identification. So this led to the in parallel, okay, with most parliamentary elections whereby political parties, they tend to be more significant. Okay.
I think we are losing you, Dr. Arif. Dr. Arif, are you still there?
Hello?
Yeah, I think we are losing your connection seems like a little bit here.
Yeah. Actually, the connection is quite.
Okay. We cannot hear anything from you now.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, now we can hear. Now we are losing you again.
Argument is the most interesting part, okay, in this paper. Okay, because we focus on the limits of parties in parliamentary elections. Because most studies before this, okay, previously, they tend to neglect, okay, the idea that because they rely strongly, okay, basically upon the concept that explains the dynamic of the voting behavior, which is solely based on the party's identification. So our proposed argument this morning, basically in general, okay, there are three major determinants, okay, in the voting trends among the electorate in the literature. Okay, of course, the first one is the party identification, okay, candidate factors and the impactful issues. What do we mean by the party identification is basically it is when the voters are strongly rooted in political parties, okay, and thus making partisan voting during elections, regardless of any other elements. The candidate factors, okay, are when the credibility or the popularity of electoral candidates are quite dominant, okay, in the voting pattern. And last but not least is the impactful issues in which it is when the voting trends in respective elections are influenced by the prevailing issues. In general, basically, these two determinants are observable, okay, in terms of political elections, okay, particularly at the national level, okay, the parliamentary elections. But of course, there is a tendency, okay, that one of them to be more prevalent than others in a respective election. So I think there is also some sort of structural bias, okay, and also what we call interrelation between political systems and the voting patterns, okay, whereby what we call the party identification is more apparent, okay, in the parliamentary system, and also on the other hand, the candidate factor is more prominent, okay, in the presidential system, okay, in contrast to the influence of impactful issues, which is more universal. So I think the above situations, okay, are comparatively self-explanatory. Okay, because this is in parallel, okay, with the situation in Malaysia. Because despite its, moderately institutionalized party system, which has been argued by some of the comparative political scholars, the voting trends among the Malaysian electorate, okay, from its first national election in 1955, okay, to the 2018 general election, basically it is essentially revolved around the party lines, okay, which is political parties. All right, but basically some other scholars, okay, they try to situate, okay, the Malaysian party system as moderately institutionalized, okay, as it is neither poorly organized nor well established, okay, as partisanship and also personalism, which is contribute almost equally to the strength of the political parties. The change of, ruling parties, okay, for the first time in Malaysian political history in the GE 2018, and of course it saw what we call the phenomenon of the exodus of party hopping, okay, among the elected representatives. All right, from the elected government of Pakatan Harapan and later on to Perikatan Nasional, okay, after a successful political coup in 2020, okay, known as the Sheraton move. So what happened is that the voters' confidence, okay, was in decline, right? And also some political observers, okay, they opine that the candidates factor in the GE 2022 would be more important, okay, than the political parties. So I think the GE 2022 results were quite mixed, okay, although there were many signs that political party or the party identification was still strong among the electorate. So basically, what happened within the context of Peninsular Malaysia, in which the majority of the Malay voters cast their vote for Perikatan Nasional, okay, with Barisan Nasional as their preferred alternative. Okay, but despite Pakatan Harapan, okay, being the least popular among the Malays in general, so especially among the Chinese voters, okay, as what happened is that there was a lack of credible alternative, okay, basically within the context of multi-ethnic politics. Okay, though the Barisan Nasional was quite influential to some extent, okay, especially among the non-Malay voters, it is less urbanized, in the less urbanized constituencies. So basically, we offer, okay, in order to test this straightforward argument, basically we offer three basic conditions. All right, so based on the 2022 Malaysian general election, okay, we identify three different conditions, okay, where the individual leaders or candidates could indirectly outmaneuver political parties. Okay, please, MC, please move to the six slides. Okay. All right. So basically, the conditions. Basically, there are three different conditions. Okay. The first one is basically the presence of deep-seated factional struggle within political parties. Okay. So I think this is the first condition that we can use in order to explain. Okay. The idea of this the voting behavior. So basically, in the debate on the transitology, okay, known as the regime change, okay, the elite split and the opposition coordination are identified as the two predominant factors. Okay, so an elite rupture weakens a major party, okay, as the political supporters are divided between the party loyalty and also elite loyalty. So this is the obvious problems in which later on, okay, it created an opening, okay, the main contenders in order to capitalize on the incumbents parties' weakness. All right. So basically, what happened? Okay, before this, okay, as narrated before, especially since the phenomenon of the Sheraton move or Langkah Sheraton, okay, that took place in 2020, there emerged, okay, two main factions within UMNO. And of course, we know the president factions, okay, or known as the Zahid faction, okay, in which it involved, okay, loyalists to UMNO's president, and later on, Ismail faction, okay, our previous prime minister, okay. So, but unlike Zaid Hamidi, okay, who seems unhesitant, okay, to use all the power that he has as the party president, okay, in order to advance his interests, okay. But on the other hand, okay, Ismail Sabri was quite, somehow reluctant, okay, in using the state power in order to call for an early election, okay, in late 2020. All right, so thus it placed the former in a fragile situation. Okay, so and of course the president, okay, of course the UMNO president used the opportunity, okay, to penalize Ismail faction, okay, by not renominating them, okay, regardless of their popularity and also some of their undisputed track record, okay, in their respective constituencies. So what happened, okay, later on, for instance, okay, the case study of parliamentary constituency of Pasir Salah in the state of Perak. Okay, the incumbent MP of Pasir Salah, okay, Tajuddin Abdul Rahman, is known as a strong supporter of Ismail and also a staunch critic of UMNO's president. So he did admit, okay, to having hosted, okay, a secret meeting in order to push Zahid, okay, out of his presidency, okay, in 2020. Accordingly, he wasn't nominated. He wasn't nominated, okay, by Zahid, although he has announced that he is desired to defend Pasir Salah. Okay, and of course, he's a popular candidate. All right. So I think we need to move to the second condition. Okay. Known as the popular candidates. Okay, switching side to relatively equal opponents. Okay, this is also quite important. Okay, because it also explains, okay, the dynamic of the voting behavior, or either we need to look at the party identification, or maybe we need to neglect, okay, the originality of the concept for the party identification, and then later on we shift to new norms, okay, known as what we call the concept of the individual candidates. Okay, so basically, in this particular case, okay, we try to map. Okay, we chose, okay, our parliamentary constituencies, and of course, we know what happened. There occurred, okay, an enormous internal crisis in the Okay. Let me try. So let me conclude. Okay, after the third condition. Okay, so basically, despite the structural bias.
Okay, we are losing you, Dr. Arif. I'm not sure whether my line is not the one who has the problem or is Dr. Arif. Is it my line?
No, doctor.
All right, okay. Dr. Arif,
Yes, I'm done.
you're done. Okay, but unfortunately, we don't hear the last point. Can you just maybe want another one or two, three sentences to wrap up again? What actually the conclusion of your presentation? Because I think we are losing you at that time.
Okay. Let me conclude. Okay.
So
All
can
right.
you share the conclusion slide, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, I think this is the most important thing. Okay, because despite the structural bias of parliamentary systems for political parties, there are certain conditions, okay, and also situations where candidates and individual leaders may trump political parties. So basically, in this study, okay, we have demonstrated that the three conditions that we have proposed, okay, it explains on how the deserted local party leaders outmaneuvered their political parties in a parliamentary elections. So I think the case studies basically it highlighted, okay, the symbiotic relationship, okay, between the individual leaders, okay, particularly the well-known figures at the grassroots level, and also their political parties, whereby the party performance, okay, may be significantly affected, okay, the relationship which is defective. So basically, to conclude, okay, basically it is all about the reflection of a moderate institutionalization of the party system in Malaysia. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, doctor.
All right. So thank you very much, Dr. Arif, for your presentation. So what I can get from your presentation that you try to highlight the between the party voting system and also the candidate voting, and then you concluded that basically it's about the moderate institutionalization of the political party. All right. So it is a good case study, but of course, unfortunately, I couldn't get you because sometimes the internet was a little bit break up. Okay, so we will go. Thank you very much, Dr. Arif, and also the Pepper. I understand that you are right together with the Dr. Muhammad Nazri. Okay, so for the second presentation, it will be the Dr. Zahra. Yeah, Dr. Zahra. No. All right. So we go to the next one. It would be Dr. Afiq. Is here? No. Okay. So then we just pass to the last presentation. Mr. Bemen Wong. You are here, isn't it?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. All right. So your presentation will be the alternative education for the undocumented Indonesian children in the oil palm plantation of Sarawak. You are from Faculty of Science Social and Kemanusiaan, University Malaysia Sarawak. Okay, Mr. Bemen. So the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes for the presentation.
Okay, I'll share my slide. Okay, thank you very much. My name is Biman. I'm from Unimas. So the topic is alternative education for the undocumented Indonesian children in the oil palm plantations of Sarawak. So I've divided my presentation into 9 sections. If initially I thought I have 15 minutes, but since I have only 10, so I'll be doing my presentation faster. So from introduction until conclusions. So, all right. Okay, so first of all, the Malaysian Immigration Department, they have 4 conditions for visit pass a temporary employment holder. So the first condition is the holder must not work as a frontliner. This one basically is applicable to foreigners. And then the second one is pass holder are not allowed to change employer and work sectors. And then for the third one, they cannot marry in Malaysia. And the fourth one, which is my focus, is the workers' family members are not allowed to enter and live in Malaysia. But the problem is we have undocumented Indonesian children living with their parents in the oil palm plantations of Sarawak. And as highlighted by some authors, these children, they are denied from accessing the Malaysian public schools due to documentations and everything. So the problem is along the years in Malaysia, like for example, like before 1995, non-Malaysian children, they were allowed to attend Malaysian National School. And then in 1995, something changed and they have to pay for like annual fees. And then in 1998, changed again, only specific categories of children, they were allowed to enroll into Malaysian national schools. And then in 2009, undocumented children could enroll into national schools as long as one of their parents was a Malaysian citizen. And then in 2019, we have zero reject policy, which was introduced by the Ministry of Education Malaysia to address the issue of enrolling undocumented children into Malaysian school. But the problem is, in this policy, one of the parents of the children must be a Malaysian. Otherwise, the parents must be foreign embassy staff or working in government agencies with valid work permits. So with these conditions, children who are living in the oil palm plantations, most of all, their parents are Indonesian, both are Indonesians. So there is no way for them to enroll into Malaysian public schools. So the only option for them to have a primary level education is community learning centers, which is set up in the plantations and based on the agreement between the Sarawak state government and the Indonesian government. So what is community learning centers, CLC? So it started in 2011 between the President of Indonesia and also the Prime Minister of Malaysia in 2011. And then according to the report by you in 2016, they were expected that more or less 51,000 Indonesian children in Sabah and Sarawak, and as many as 30,000 of them, they don't have access to formal education. So according to the agreement, the Sarawak state government allowed CLC to be set up in the oil palm plantations. And these CLC are targeting children between 7 to 12 years old, which is primary 1 until primary 6. And in 2016, it started in Sarawak and started with 16 CLC. So these CLCs, they are using Indonesian school syllabus. They are not using the Malaysian school syllabus. So this is the record from 2016 until 2022. So 2016, we have 16 CLC, and then up to 2022 December, we have 66 in Sarawak. So this is just the overall of the location of the CLCs across Sarawak. So the questions is, I would like to look at what are the implications of registered CLC in Malaysia, and then the impact of CLC on related stakeholders in Sarawak, and also the issues and challenges of this CLC face to provide primary level education to Indonesian children. So for the method, I'm using case study, which is focused on Bintulu, Miri, and Muka. And then for the data collection method, I was using face-to-face semi-structured interview, and then interview through phone, text messaging, and also online survey questionnaire. And then the sampling method, basically I was using progressive sampling to identify my interviewees and also participants. So for the findings, the first one is CLC with permits. So what are the implications? So first of all, among 66 CLC in Sarawak, only 16 are registered, or only 16 have permits. So the implication is that CLC which has permit, they will receive annual funding from the Indonesian government, annual funding to help them to run the CLC. So for those CLC that don't have permit, they won't get the annual funding. And then with the permit as well, they will have this Nombor Pokok Sekolah Nasional from the Ministry of Education of Indonesia. And also, with permit, they will get funding. And then the second one is the impact of CLCs on different stakeholders. So the first impact of CLC is on the Indonesian children, Indonesian government. So Indonesian government, they, if you look at the second point, it is mandatory for the Indonesian government to provide primary school education to Indonesian children, even if the children are in other countries. So with CLC, the Indonesian children, they could carry out their responsibility and also to fulfill their responsibility to provide primary education to these children. And then how about the impact on Sarawak government and also the oil palm plantation? So with CLC, we could provide this education to these children and also could address the accusation of child labor raised by Western countries, because we can show that we have CLC and then we have a place to provide education for the children. So there's no case of child labor and whatsoever that raised by the Western countries. And the second point is to supply the supply of labor in Sarawak plantation, because one of the main issues is that one of the main issue is that labor shortage is a major problem. So the supply of labor is very important, and also to reduce the potential accidents of Indonesian children on site. And then the third one is the impact of CLC on Indonesian children. So with this CLC, they could enroll into primary level education. And also after they finish their primary 6, they can easily transfer or easily continue to their secondary school in Indonesia, because they are using the Indonesian school syllabus. So there's no problem for them to, in terms of the transition. And last one is the issues and challenges of CLCs in Sarawak. The first one is, the first issue is the lack of facilities and qualified teachers. Because for the teachers, they have two categories. One is Guru Bina and one is Guru Pamong. So Guru Bina is sent by the Indonesian government. The salary also paid by the Indonesian government. Those are the qualified teachers. But the problem is there is a shortage in terms of Guru Bina. For Guru Pamong, the oil palm plantations, they can appoint or recruit their own Guru Pamong. But Guru Pamong, they don't have qualification to teach the students. So that is one of the issues. And then the second one is multi-grade classroom, because of the shortage of classrooms as well. So students from maybe from primary 1 until primary 4, they have to share the same classroom. So it creates a condition that the teacher is very hard to teach, in terms of the process of teaching and learning. And then the third issue is late start students, because for certain plantation, for example, like they might have the CLC recently, but then on site, there are some children who are maybe already 10 or 11 years old. So these students are considered late start students. Maybe they don't have education background before this. So if we enroll them into, let's say, primary 4 or primary 5, they couldn't follow. So maybe they have to start from primary 1 or primary 2. So these are the late start students, which also one of the issues as well in CLC in Sarawak. All right. So for the conclusion, this study has provided valuable insight into the access to primary education for undocumented Indonesian children. I'm wrapping up right now. So only 16 out of 66 receive annual funding because of their registration, because of they have permits. And then my last slide, the provision of CLC offers hope for these children and also their families to enroll into primary level education. So the policies and interventions should focus on increasing the number of registered CLCs in Sarawak so that they can receive annual funding from the Indonesian government. All right, that's all my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. Since we only have two presenters, so I think we will open for discussion, or if the presenter would like to share more ideas, because just now we tried to stick to the time because we thought that we will have another two presenters. So, but I think this is good for the this session, so that we can extend our discussion. All right, we have two topics here, two interesting topics for this session actually. About the political party, I mean the election system in Malaysia, and as well as about the alternative education for the undocumented Indonesian children in Sarawak. So I will open to any of the presenters if you would like to extend your share, which any points that you think that you missed just now, or I will open to the other people or other audience, any questions to the presenters. Any question from the audience here? We have here Ms. Zaiharfa. You have any question to the presenter?
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Okay, nothing to add. Okay. Yeah. If Ms. Zaiharfa Asra would like to ask, okay. Yeah, you can write the question. You wait for the audience to add questions in the chat. In the meantime, that I also would like to later on, Dr. Arif, I would like to see the slide that you shared just now about the case study number 2, because just now I think I couldn't get the point because you shared the slide, but I couldn't hear you well. So later, I would like you to share that particular slide.
Okay,
Right.
okay, will do.
For that, yeah, there is a question to Mr. Benjamin Wong. So, Mr. Hasra question was, I believe the zero reject policy of KPM refers to MBTK, i.e. murid berkeperluan khas. So, Mr. Benjamin, any response to that?
Yeah, the slide that I show is to just to show the policy changes along the years in Malaysia. So
Yeah, he said that not referring to
not
the
referring. Yeah, understand that. Yeah, but yeah, the slide is only to show the changes along the years in terms of policy for the children to enroll into Malaysian public school. Yeah, thank you for the feedback about the zero reject policy. Yeah, thank you very much.
Is it possible for Mr. Benjamin, you share your slide today? Because to see that what were your pointing out in your slide regarding to the zero reject policy?
Yeah, wait.
Right. So it means that so we don't have a specific policy. I mean, regarding to help this kind of the group of the student which is going to have documentation in the context of education.
Sorry.
I mean that yeah, because the condition, I mean the requirement, they say that only one parent should be warga negara, isn't it? If not, then student will not have the opportunity to get into the system.
Yeah, yeah, that is one of the conditions, and also because out of this policy, another one is according to the immigration policy, because their parents are holding the VPTE, so actually their family members are not allowed to be in or to live in Malaysia. So because of that VPTE as a VPTE holder, so their children actually is yeah, not even without this zero reject policy, these children are actually not allowed to enroll into Malaysian public school as well, because of the permit, the working permit that holding by their parents.
So is there any further action taken by our kementerian regarding this matter?
For me, there are two time frame here, timeline. The first one is these children, they are not supposed to be in Malaysia, so there's nothing the Malaysian government have to do. The second timeline is they already here. So once they are already here, according to human rights and everything, if we don't provide them primary education, then it's not, I mean, for me, it's not right in terms of human right. That's why, I mean, that's why in Sarawak, the condition is that we allow CLC to be set up in the oil palm plantations to cater the needs and also to address the issue of education for this group of children.
So, but do you think is it sufficient for them to just provide an alternative in that way? So, what do you think about it? Because you are the one who did the research. So, what do you think about this kind of matter?
I think CLC in Sarawak so far is the best option. It is the best option for this group of children. But the only thing that it is not enough is the permit, the registration of CLC. Because if CLC with permit, they will get annual funding from the Indonesian government. So once they get annual funding, then it's easy for them to run the CLC in terms of the operation, in terms of the teachers and everything sending by the Indonesian government. But the problem is, like what I showed just now, with the 66 CLC in Sarawak, only 16 with permits. Along the years, there are CLC submitting applications to get permits, to get registration. But then the problem is they don't get any feedback. So only the first the first batch, the 16 CLC, they have permits. So the issue is funding, because only 16 got funding, the rest no funding. So this 16, they get the funding and they share. They share the money, they share the funding with the rest of the CLC to help them to survive, to help them to run the daily operation. That's why with this 16, the Indonesian government also, they send Guru Bina, the teachers, into Sarawak according to the registered CLC. That's why the number of Guru Bina is not enough in Sarawak to teach in CLC in the plantations.
Okay, right. Yeah, interesting. So since no one would like to ask more questions, so sorry, Mr. Ben, I have another question.
Yeah.
Okay with that. Do you think your, I mean, your research, PhD research, or your own research, or what kind of research?
You mean this research?
Yeah,
This is actually a part of my PhD thesis.
I see. So you're still finishing on your PhD?
It's finished right now. I'm doing my correction. I already finished my viva. So in these few months, I'll submit the final version after the correction. So yeah, in the final stage right now, it's already finishing. Yeah.
It's a good thesis. But when you conducted this kind of research, what are I'm curious to know what are the vibes or the perception or impression the surrounding community about when there are certain group or certain this kind of NGOs for giving this kind of the alternative education to this community of the student. Is they, I mean, are they feel kind of happy with that, or what do you think? I mean, what was your, based on your experience?
For the people who are living around the area, actually they are not within my scope. So I didn't take into consideration and I didn't interview them, because if I include them, the scope would be very big. But then, I mean, from my interviews with some of the participants, and I realized that even many Sarawakian, many people in Sarawak, they don't know the existence of CLC. Even people living around the plantations, some of them they know, oh, ada sekolah di dalam ladang kelapa sawit, but they don't know what is CLC, and they don't know about the operation. And of course, they don't know about Guru Bena or Guru Pamong. Actually, is Indonesian government paying for the teachers, and then Indonesian government sending teachers into Sarawak to teach the children and etc. So those are the details that most of the publics they don't know. That is what I got from along my data collection process lah.
Okay. So do you think that our ministry happy with this kind of situation?
That is a that is a very interesting question, because as I know, CLC is only applicable in Sabah and Sarawak, because it's between the agreement between the state government and also the Indonesian government. I think the first thing is because of labor shortage. In Sarawak, for foreign workers to work in oil palm plantations, the only group that we can recruit is Indonesian workers. So in order to attract, or in order to recruit more, I think CLC is also one of the main factors to attract workers who have children and who are intended to migrate and work, bring along their children and work in Sarawak. So CLC is one of the factors. But if you ask me the perception of the government or the federal government or the ministry, then I can't answer on behalf of that. Yeah.
But what is the meaning? I mean, you must have some kind of ideas of what, I mean, maybe at least in some of the documentation or some of the programs. I mean, what do you think? They are happy or they are not really happy with that? Because I think it's very interesting to point that, I mean this interesting issue that whether our government approve or not, that's another issue, isn't it?
They are happy or not? I mean, for my perception, they are not happy. They are not happy because this group of children, they are not supposed to be here at the first place. They are not allowed to be here at the first place because of the working permit that holding by their parents. They are not supposed to be here because they are considered like invisible children. They are undocumented. So they also there is a potential threat as well from them, because we don't have record who are here, who are not here. I one of my interviewees is a police officer, so he also mentioned about the security concern about this group of children. So I believe that the government or ministry should be not very uh, happy with that, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Mr. William Wong. So
Thank you.
congratulations on your Viva. Right. And
Thank you.
for this kind of research, I'm sure you have published some of the interesting points from your thesis in any publication that do care with you have the first, so then maybe you can share with us so that we can also read what is the findings from your research. So thank you very much. So back to the Dr. Arif, if there is no more question from the audience. Any questions from the audience? No? All right. So then, Dr. Arif, so yeah, will you please share a little bit about, since we don't have any other question or presenters, but your second case study, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe I think the first or the second, I don't remember just now. All right. Can you just share a little bit?
Second,
Yeah.
okay, basically back to the second condition. Okay, this is also quite an important one because uh, what we attempt to argue is that an elite rupture, okay, basically it may cause some of the leaders, okay, to defect and eventually later on to compete against the political parties in election. Because the defectors, okay, may join other existing parties, or maybe they want to establish a new organization or enter elections as an independent candidates. So by acknowledging, okay, the importance of having credible candidates, particularly the incumbent representative, so the existing opposition parties would welcome their entrance, okay, to the parties, even to an extent of allowing the defectors, okay, to contest as their candidates. So basically, under this condition too, okay, in which the candidates are switching sides, okay, uh, we propose a case study of Arau Parliamentary Constituency in Perlis, okay, because the incumbent, for instance, Shahidan Kasim, okay, basically he is quite well known, okay, a very well established politician, okay, in the northern part of Malaysia, in which he is closely associated, okay, with Ismail, okay, and most of the time he always supported the idea that Barisan Nasional should extend its cooperation with Perikatan Nasional, okay. So this ostensibly based on the ideology of the Malay Muslim unity, okay, as they have demonstrated in the G15 and beyond. So as the Malays, okay, constituted the supermajority, okay, in the demography of Arau parliamentary, not only in Arau but in the whole state of Malays. So Shahidan idea to collaborate with Malay-based opposition parties, okay, instead of with Pakatan Harapan, basically is understandable because despite that he is also a very popular leader in Perlis, okay, of course a former Menteri Besar, Chief Minister from 1995 until 2008, okay, by representing Tambun Tulang state constituency in Perlis. So what happened, okay, thinking beyond the GE15, okay, basically nevertheless the UMNO president Zahid, okay, he decided to cripple, okay, any hurdle of his continuing presidency. So Shahidan and several other Ismail cabinet ministers, okay, have been chopped off from UMNO BN candidacy list, okay, on 1 November 2022. So of course they felt mistreated. Okay, so what happened? Shahidan and his supporters, as well as the party machinery in police, they quickly retaliated. So they launched a statewide boycott, okay, against the party and the new candidates, okay, and they brought a serious debilitating effects to Perlis, UMNO, and Barisan Nasional. So Shahidan, what he did, okay, he went further, okay, by meeting past President Abdul Hadi Awang. Okay, of course, few days later, before announcing that he shall enter GE 2022 as a past candidate for Arau parliamentary constituency, and of course, he did that. So, Shahidan wasn't only officially became UMNO BN de facto, okay, but more importantly, okay, he had bandwagon with his party archenemy, okay, of relatively equal strength. Okay, because the outcome basically was quite disastrous. Okay, and also, of course, the combination of PAS and also Syahidan rootedness in Perlis, okay, had enabled Perikatan Nasional to make a historic breakthrough. Of course, in our parliamentary constituency, with a whopping 23,216 majority. Okay, basically, this is a very super majority. Okay, and also in the whole of Perlis, okay, of course, Barisan Nasional was totally wiped out from the Perlis map. So, Perikatan Nasional, they swept all of the 3 parliamentary constituencies, okay, and 14 out of 15 state constituencies in Perlis. Of course, they form a PAS-led state government for the first time in the history of national election. Okay, in the same time, okay, Syahidan Alai, okay, Zahidi Zainal Abidin of Padang Besar, okay, did not take the same path, okay, he didn't choose for the same path. But rather surprisingly, okay, Zahidi chose to enter GE 2022 as an independent candidate. Okay, but perhaps maybe because of his overconfidence, okay, in his popularity in Padang Besar. But after all, he had won, okay, both in GE 2013 and also GE 2018, okay, under the banner of Barisan Nasional. But unfortunately, again, he wasn't able, okay, to secure his seat Padang Besar. Okay, because we argue that because of the path that he had chosen. Okay, unlike Syahidan Kasim, he tried to enter, a new framework, okay, known as PAS. So I think basically this is our proposed case study, okay, in order to illustrate more about the condition two, okay, which is the popular candidates switching side, okay, to relatively equal opponents, right? That's it.
Thank you. So, do you think that it is now is a kind of trend among our political party that when they are not being allowed to contest in the election, then they will switch party? I think the same will happen in the recent PRN. So I think few members, for example, the Mahfuz case in Kedah Island. So then they switching to other. So what do you think? Is it a healthy trend, I think, our healthy culture in our among political members, political parties? What do you think?
I think switching sides, of course, from the moral point of view, I think it is totally unhealthy. Okay, though, because, and of course, especially once the government has been formed and then suddenly they wanted, not only that they want to do it for real, but most of the time they try to threat, okay, they try to position a threat, okay, they try to threaten the other side that they simply convince them, okay, we have number, and then maybe some of your members would like to join us. So I think this is totally, unhealthy practice, especially in nowadays. But thank God, because of the new laws, okay, which has been binding, okay, recently. So it is quite difficult for them to make a move, but I don't think that would be a point that that could lead towards the stability of our current political situation, because though we know that the individual cannot simply act on their own, but on the other side, okay, they can only move together, okay, by the idea of the end block. All right, so I think switching sides is basically, because it has been part, okay, it has been cultured, okay, it has been institutionalized. I think maybe since the most frequent one, maybe since the Sheraton move. Okay, no, not really the Sheraton move. Maybe soon after the downfall of the ruling regime, Barisan Nasional. Okay, because soon after Barisan Nasional or UMNO experienced a defeat or a loss in the GE14, some of their members, okay, they switch sides, okay, they switch sides, and of course, what happened is that not only that they switch sides, but in reality, the reality on the ground suggests different things. Okay, not only that they switching sides, but they brought also, okay, their UMNO's DNA, okay, into their new political vehicle. So I think this is totally, something that we cannot simply take for granted, okay, or something that we cannot simply take lightly. All right, because I think something needs to be done, okay, in future. Of course, in terms of how to educate the people outside there, right, about this unhealthy practice, right?
Anti-hopping bill is not helping.
What?
Anti-hopping bill, anti-hopping act is not helping, I think, in terms of this kind of issues.
Uh, and of course, it is healthy, okay, and because it is good. At least we can we can curb the individual, okay, from leaving their original parties. Okay, maybe we can curb them, and of course, for the long run, we can curb them. But if they try to move, if they try to switch and block, okay, maybe by bringing out their political parties from the coalition, I think that one, we need to to devise another law. Okay. But for now, of course, the entire hopping party, it is a very healthy thing, okay, because it can curb a future political instability, yes, from happening. Yes.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? No? Yeah, since we don't have another presentation. How about the secretariat? How discussion? She going to end the session or
Do you have any questions for the presenters, Doctor?
I think I don't have now, but if you ask, I mean, if we have to stay until 10:20, so then yeah, I can communication actually, especially to the first presenter, because yeah, the topic is similar with my area of interest. But I'm not sure how the okay, so I can see the name of Dr. Subhi here. So do you have any question to the presenter?
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Dr. Hima. Okay, I maybe one question to Mr. Arif Aizuddin Azlan regarding the Shahidan Kasim phenomena in Perlis. So I really wonder how the I so-called the Shahidan Kasim phenomena is very tremendous and successful in changing the game of the political, I would say, the culture or environment in Perlis. From totally or 100% from the end to pass. And how this culture the process of strengthening or winning the heart of the voters in Perlis. I see Shahidan Kasim is very good in society engagement. This is the real point. What I see from at 8 years when I stay at Perlis, I see this is the real phenomena. How Shahidan Kasim can strengthen the society with all aspect of the social life, to say the social life, not only the political mileage on the issues voting to grab the voting, but the change of Perlis and being part of Malaysian, how Shahidan put Perlis in Malaysian map Okay, this is the real issues. So maybe I want Mr. Arif to give some response on Shahidan phenomena instead of the party or the candidates. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. First thing first, okay. We need to understand. Basically, based on what we propose, and of course, the party identification, is no longer relevant. But I'm talking about from the Barisan Nasional perspective. Okay, but in order to explain, basically, the position of Shaidan Kasim, especially in the state of Arau, okay, so there are many factors uh, that that explains, okay, the robustness of Shahidan Kasim, okay, within the context of local politics, especially in his parliamentary constituency and also in the whole state of Arau. And of course, we do not deny the fact that Shahidan Kasim is a very an all-timer, okay, politician in the state of Malaysia, in which he has contributed a lot of things, okay, in the within the context of Malay societies, okay, and of course, not only that after he chose to defect from UMNO, but even before that, okay, during his time as chief minister and also during his time as a state assemblyman, okay. Okay, besides the first thing first is that we need to clear on one thing, and of course, it is the individual, okay, it is the candidate himself. Okay, it is the Shaidan factor himself, okay, that explains his robust victory, okay, recently, in the recent GE 2022 last year. Okay, but I just want to add another factor. All right, because we cannot simply dismiss, okay, what we call the green wave theory. Okay, the green wave theory. All right, because I think it is basically it is a perfect combination. Okay, Shahidan personality and also a green wave theory. Okay, because I think it is totally unsurprising. Okay, a northern part, the most northern part of Malaysia, okay, like Perlis, suddenly, okay, it has been swept across to whole the state. Okay, and of course, by the past grassroots level. Okay, so I think it is a very perfect combination. The first one is that Shahidan Kasim personality. Okay, because not only that he has his own strength, okay, that explain his victory, but most important thing is that the support that he gained from past. Okay, because I think without past support, okay, and of course, Shahidan could still win, but not as big as what he had demonstrated. Okay, more than 20,000. All right, majority. Okay, I think it is quite huge. I guess it is quite a big. All right. So last but not least, just want to add the last factor. Okay, it is all about this last factor can explain the first and the second factor. Okay, it is all about the total rejection. Okay, because people say, okay, enough with UMNO, okay, enough with Barisan Nasional. So I think it is time to change. Okay, so I think what drive the change, of course, the first and also yeah, the third factor, okay, because the UMNO's attitude itself, okay, they only represent the elite, they only represent the image of the president, okay, they don't represent the image of the whole party's members. So I think the most problematic situation here is that the UMNO's itself, okay. So I think just want to conclude, okay, basically what happened in Arau, okay, and in the whole state of Malaysia is what we call not only because of the Shahidan credible personality and also the grassroots strength, especially past, okay, but all in all, okay, it also can be explained by the internal factionalism, okay, that occurred inside UMNO. Okay, so I think those 3 points, okay, I think it is sufficient, okay, to explain why the Barisan Nasional, okay, have been completely wiped off, okay, from the map of Perlis, okay, and in the same time, why the internal factionalism eventually, paved way for Syahidan Qasim and also Pikatan Nasional. All right, that's all. Thank you very much.
Right, very long and then yeah, detailed explanation from okay. All right. So I think by having this kind of the explanation, I think we can have another we can see I can understand better about the Shahidah phenomenon. Which personally I think it can create a kind of negative vibes to our political culture and political party situation. Okay, all right. So I think we don't have any. Do you have any other questions from the audience? Any questions or maybe comments? Opinion? No. If no, then I think we have to have it. Ending the session today for discussion. The
What, Prof?
or maybe we can ask all the presenters open their camera and then we can take
Yes. Let's have a short photography session.
including the audience.
MC, I don't know how to change my background. Can you help me?
Okay.
Uh,
Please, when you
Actually, I
look
am
at your,
IT blind, you know.
it's okay, no worries. When you look at the bar down there, there's the stop video, right? The
Okay, stop video,
there's
right?
the upside down V.
Okay,
From
choose
there,
virtual
you can
background.
see choose virtual background.
Okay.
Press the, okay, you get it?
What? Click what?
Okay, let me see if I can share this.
I can't change mine because my Zoom required green screen in order for me to change the background. So I can't change the background.
Okay,
You can just take
you can choose virtual. Let me see if I can share this. Do you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you take a look, are you looking at the Zoom with the other? There's
Yes.
the background effects. No, nampak tak? Nampak. Okay, so when you take a look at the background effects, it's from this stop video upside down V. Choose virtual background, add image, add this background, and then choose it there. Ah, yes, you've got it, Mr. Wong. The green screen, you have this, I have a green screen button, so you just unclick that one.
I think that's fine. We can just take our photo
Unclick.
in the background. It will take time for them to learn about how to upload the virtual.
Okay. Let's proceed.
No worries. Next time I can teach you. So actually you can just untick the I have a screen and mirror my video. Just untick that one and then you can get the normal background.
Ms. Marwana, you mean
Right. So if it's alright, never mind. So let's take a short photography session first. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I think thank you to all the presenters. I think we have a very good discussion. You took it. I mean, this is a good thing when the other presenter is not here, so that we can have more time to discuss about the topic. So well done, all the presenters, and to the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.